And welcome to another show of Don't Get This Twisted. I am Rob with my co-host, as always, Tina. How you doing, Tina?
I'm great, Rob. How are you?
Oh, absolutely positive.
Good.
You know, good times, good times. We are going to talk about something near and dear to everyone's heart, I think. And, you brought it up. It was a good one, I think, this week. Letting go. And I think letting go of anything. People, things, way of lives, thinking.
Ideas, could have been, what ifs.
Exactly. I think that we, as people, need to try to let go more. Mostly if you know it's something that needs to be out of your life.
Right.
Unfortunately, sometimes we don't know until way longer that it needs to be out of your life.
I don't know. I think we do know. We just don't want to look at it.
Just fight it.
Just fight it.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think
I'm a kicker and a screamer. I will try to hold on to something for as long as I possibly can until I can't do it anymore and till life forces me to change. But yeah, letting go is not an easy one.
It isn't. I think most people try to hold on way too long. And when you hold on, it's a bad thing. I mean, mostly if we're talking about people or relationships, actually ideas as well. I think ideas are just as bad.
Absolutely.
You look at, I forgot who sings the song, but there is a, hold on loosely, but don't let go.
That is 10 cc's, Rob.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
But
wait, am I right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I forgot who sings that song. But now I got to think. I think it's 38 Special. But
you're right. It's 38 Special.
Is it 38 Special?
Yes.
Right, good.
I saw them in concert. That's why I'm like, no, wait, it's not 10 cc's. Hold on.
That's good though. 38 Special. Look at that. So letting go, like obviously you just said it. Like it's not easy. Letting go, mostly if it's something that is a what if or a could have been. Those are the things that are the hardest things.
I don't know. I think that looking at life's could have beens, it teaches you that you're definitely not the only one calling the shots. That life does take you to certain areas that you wouldn't want to be, or vice versa. Like you go to places you shouldn't be. And then at some point you got to realize that it's just not serving you. It's not making anything better. You got to try to let go. And for me, I think letting go has been one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, because I'm letting go in a big way. Like with COVID, we had to change where I work. The girls at the salon had to change. Chose to leave my ex during COVID. So had to move and be in a different place and start from scratch, having to deal with my own stuff and do everything for myself. And letting go of the idea of being married and a wife and a mom, because I haven't had a relationship with my daughter consistently in the last 10 years. So having to let go of the family and all that's been kind of difficult too lately. And letting go of friends, because friends are starting to shift again. I'm not as close to people that I was with every single day. And now I'm not seeing them and there's no communication. So letting go of that, because everybody's got to go through their own growth and their own change, because I'm changing. So it forces everybody else to as well. So yeah, letting go has been kind of shitty these days. It's been a huge lesson in it for me. But it's kind of not that bad either. Life is really a mess right now and it's still not that bad. And I think that has to do with my outlook, and also being of an age where I know now that letting go doesn't mean it's gone forever. It just means you have to let go sometimes and let whatever's going to happen next happen.
I kind of agree. I think as you get older, goodbyes are, and just generally goodbyes are until we meet again.
Yeah.
It's, you can't dwell on the past. You can't dwell on things that your own mind will, serve up. I think that's the other thing.
Yeah.
My thing that I've kind of learned is, the thing letting go is you can't chase ghosts.
Yeah, that's true.
It's some things are meant to be and some things aren't. Or if you believe in fate, fate brings you in very many different directions. So sometimes you have to let go for the better of everyone involved.
That's true.
Mostly when it comes to a relationship, I think that if the relationship is only serving one side, it's probably not for the best.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to let go. It's hard to say goodbye to friends or romantic relationships that you really, really, really wanted to work.
Or that you leaned on for years and years and years too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, even if it wasn't, even if it was a friendship or whatever the middle ground is between a friendship and a relationship, when you talk to some people every day for years and years and years, and then one day you wake up and they're not there, it's hard to say goodbye, or it's hard to go through the realization. And, that's like marriage. When you go through these years and years of a relationship, to wake up one day and realize that either it didn't mean the same to you, or it meant this, or it was easy to throw away. I don't know. It's a very bizarre thing. I mean, when I went through my divorce, I questioned a lot of things like that.
I think you're supposed to, though, at that point. Like, divorce is one of those times where it's like you need to stop and reflect, because no one's perfect. Everybody had a part to play. You're having to change your whole life, and what comes next. If you don't sit in that for a little bit, I don't know how you get through it. I think you need to sit in it.
And I think at the end, what we're talking about is the truth, though. At the end of that, you let go.
Yeah.
And you have to, for your sanity, for everyone's sanity involved. Because if you don't, that kind of shit will eat you alive. And it did for me for 6 months, 6 solid months after she left. It was brutal. And I just wallowed in my own shit. And then one day, I cut it off. But I have kind of a weird, like, my stepdaughter called me and was like, you got to talk to her, and you guys need to end this, and you're both doing it. So she knew before us. But I will tell you that the day that happened, and the day that I talked to my ex-wife and said, do you want to make this work? And she said, no, I literally let it go. I never asked her another day after that.
Yeah.
I turned around. It was time for a different outlook on life, and I just moved on.
Yeah.
But it's still hard to let go.
Well, I think the fear of what happens next, or what if, or are they going to be okay? Am I going to be okay? Are we financially going to be able to make it? Are we going to be able to talk? Are we not going to be able to talk? Who's going to get the animals? Who's going to get the kid? Who's going to, for especially in a marriage, like there's so many what ifs. It's hard to let go, to just completely resolve yourself to let go and let whatever's going to happen. That doesn't really come. It comes in waves maybe, but I don't think it comes all together. I've asked my ex, I'm like, are we doing the right thing? And it's not because I feel like we should be together, but it's almost like I feel like what happens next? Like, is everybody gonna be okay next? Is I don't know. I just asked. I asked to see how he was thinking of it, if he where he was at. And when he said no, we're gonna be okay. And I was like, all right, cool, let's keep doing this. But I kind of needed him to say, no, it's okay. Because I'm kind of weird. We got a good relationship for that. But and then we'll argue about stupid things like, unplugging the video camera when I'm house sitting or stuff like that. But so do we really let go, or do we let go of certain things and then mess with others? For divorce, it's just a different cha-cha.
Yeah.
But also, like we were talking to Liv in an earlier episode, and letting go of friendships and letting go of ideas of you being with this group of people, or this is who you are, you identify with these people, and then you have to let go of them. Thankfully, those are easier to do than divorces, because that needs to happen too. People need to, you can't keep the same friends your whole life and think you're going to grow. You need people in order to grow. But letting go and then being like, well, what if I was there with them? We'd be doing this or that. It's hard. I mean, I think it's hard. For me, it's hard to let go, period. It's hard to let go when my animal passes. It's hard for me to let go to my ex and say goodbye and have faith that everything's going to be okay. It's been really difficult to say goodbye to what I thought my family was and my position in it, my importance in it. Having to let go of all of that's been, maybe even harder than the divorce, is letting go of the family and the what should have been or what could have been. Or it's been an interesting ride. I'm not saying that I'm not dying inside. Thankfully, life has given me enough lessons to know that I'm going to be okay. But the letting go has been difficult to even know how to do it.
Yeah, I look, it's letting go of anything, like letting go of the idea of what you thought something could be.
Mm-hmm.
is just as hard. You're in a relationship with somebody, and then you have what you think it's supposed to be in your own head, or what it could be, and then when it doesn't end up being that, finding a way to let go is hard, because for years and years and years you had this idea. And it's, I mean, I have a friend who was with somebody 10 years, and their idea of what it was or what it could be were two totally different things. And I think, you stay too long sometimes because you're afraid to let go, or you're afraid to see what if, or can I do it alone? Those are the kind of things that stop letting go. It stops you from doing things.
Also, how do you stop the love that you still have? I mean, let's face it. If people are getting divorced, there's still a part of them that loves the other person. Sure. They could be mad as hell. They may want to kill them. They may want to do all these things. But ultimately, there's still a love there. There's still a life there. There was still hope and dreams and goals and work and everything that was put into it. So there's so many layers to it that I don't, does anybody really get to the end of letting go, like where they've processed the whole thing? Or is there always a bit in the piece that sticks, that's just something that they couldn't let go of?
Look, I mean, I think we'd be lying to ourselves to say that there's not something that stays behind. I mean, even in the best goodbye, you know what I mean? There's still something there. Mm-hmm. But I kind of agree with you where you kind of get to the point where you have to kind of say, look, it's there may be a room in your brain with the idea or the person or whatever, but there's just a lock on it, and you know that it can't be open. But you got to make sure that that doesn't affect the future either.
Right.
You know, your love for somebody or your love for the idea can't sabotage what could happen later on in life.
That's true.
Because that's the part of letting go, that there has to be, you know, you're just letting them go into a room and going, okay, this is what happened and I've learned. And or you know, you let it haunt you forever and you love this person no matter what. So, but you know, as we're talking, the whole point is you got to find a way to let go. And it's hard. Letting go is not easy. Even the idea of like, you know, let's say you have an idea to become something, become someone, do a project, do this. How many times do we let go? And how many times does it stay in the back of your head and haunt you for years? Like, God, if I would have just did this, you know, I had this idea, you know, and I let it go for the wrong reason, you know, and because I could be doing this right now. I could be, you know, a lawyer, or I could be this. And sometimes you let go out of necessity.
Right.
You know, just, I have to move on because if I don't, I can't feed my kids because I see this job over here that I really want, but the one that's right here in front of me is the one that's going to make sure everything's fine. So you let go of that idea and it can haunt the hell out of you.
So if it's haunting you, are you really letting it go?
Well, I think subconsciously you've let it go. You know, you let it go because you know you have to, because but maybe it's one of those things that come back to haunt you every blue moon, you know. And then you pick it back up and you know, it found its way out of that room and you just got to usher it back in there and put a new lock on it.
Right.
Because some things you have to let go of for the best of your sanity.
But what constitutes letting go? What, like, so for me, I'm having a hard time with this letting go thing, this moving on, this passing through the end of a cycle and starting a new one. So at the end of all that, how do you let go? How do you let go of who you thought you were as a person? How do you let go of the person that you were with and the love you had? How do you let go of your life, your everything that you are? For me, I've kind of done it kicking and screaming. I don't think I've done a good job, and I don't have the answers for this. It's been a cool thing because I've had to change. I was forced to change. Like nothing stayed the same. It had to change. So I find myself just one day at a time, just walking and moving forward. But I don't necessarily know how the letting go part's going.
Well, yes. I mean, I think you're still early in this stage.
It's been a year and a half.
Oh, well, maybe not then.
I mean, we're not divorced yet, but you know, I really don't know if even signing the papers is going to be any more of a release than anything else has been. You know what I mean?
I mean, there is some finality to that though, I'll tell you. I mean, at least it was for me. No, I think in my head, I probably had let go.
Yeah.
So it made the signing of the papers probably much, much easier.
Yeah.
But
for me, it's the whole family aspect, you know, it's all of it is.
Yeah. I don't think it should be easy. If you were in love with somebody, you know, like we said, like, I don't think you ever lose that love.
Right.
Right. You're just not in love. And there is a
Right.
difference. I mean, there's a difference between being in love with someone and loving someone. Loving someone is you don't want them to be hurt. You don't want anything to happen to them. You have this respect for them, and in most cases, wish them whatever love they're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's having love for somebody. Being in love with somebody is a whole other feeling.
Yeah.
And to experience that, the different kind of love is, to me, different, and it.
But even
Like,
at times when you're in love with somebody, you have to let go. There's
yes, no, I agree. And
yeah.
but I think you have to backstep that and realize why you have to let go, because there's always going to be something that dictates that, right? Like if you think you're in love with somebody and they end up with somebody else, you have to question if it was one-sided or not, or the reasons why maybe it's time to move on, or it's time that you realize that they found somebody because that person may be better for them. It's not that you're a bad person, or even that you spent all this time together with each other. And yes, there's tons of these very compatible things, but there's something that changes their look or their outlook on that. And yeah, it's hard to let go. That's still love. And there's still some kind of love behind it, but you know that you love yourself more, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bigger thing. Like, you have to know that you love yourself enough to let someone else go.
I get that. I do get that. And I don't know, this whole like loving yourself and stuff, like I still struggle with that. I think women in general do, because there's always insecurities with women too, because even at 18 I was struggling with body image and what I look like and how tall I was and big I was, and all the other girls that were in school with me and how tiny they were. I still have held on to the beliefs that I had about myself. And, it's, they haven't served me in years. I don't know if they ever did, but even letting go of those has been difficult, because it was who I saw myself as. And now as I get older, it's not serving me. It's not even accurate anymore. And so it's like, but here you still hold on to these things. I'm finding lately that I've held on to a lot that maybe just didn't work for me. And now I have to figure out how you let go, because everybody says, just stop, just do that. But that's not really,
That's not realistic.
it's not realistic.
No, not
But
close.
but really, are there, I don't know, are there ways to let go? Or is it just, you get so tired of being so miserable at some point, it just happens? I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how this is going to all work.
I think letting go of something is, I think there's two ways of looking at it. There's the obviously physical part of letting go, which is a whole other thing. And then there's the mental part of letting go, and they have to merge together at some point, mostly if it's a person. But an idea is a whole other thing. It's like, I know somebody who her whole life has gone through body issues, her whole life.
That's most women, by the way.
Right. I yes. And she's lost weight. Looks really good. But she never sees that person in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
No matter what. She still sees the same person she was when she was heavy. And it's hard to, and you don't realize it until you are part of that person's life, how much it's part of them. And then
I think, I'm sorry, go ahead. And then
I was just saying, trying to let go of that. It's like, you can't tell somebody, just let it go.
No.
It's like, you're thin, just let it go. Or you're this, just let it go. It's not realistic.
It's not. It's not at all. But it's funny now that I'm starting to date again, to hear other people's perceptions of me are completely different than how I saw myself. So I'm like, I'm having a hard time letting go just because maybe I was that way at some point and maybe I'm not anymore. And I need to stop thinking in that same person because I'm not there. But this letting go thing, I don't know if it's because my whole theme of life right now is just letting go, or if I'm just noticing that it's just a shit ton to let go. I haven't figured it out, but I've honestly, I'm like, how do we do this? I mean, how have I done this before? How do you get past it? Because there's a lot of things I don't think I ever let go of, and now they're a part of me, and they're not serving me anymore.
And that's the hard part is knowing which ones to let go of. Yeah. Because some of them, like I would say most of my insecurities, they shake hands with each other all the time.
Yeah.
Which is hard because maybe some of my insecurities got better, but one's still holding on to the other one going, yeah, just when you thought it was all right.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, like, no, like really, I'm good. It's kind of like, you know, like we've talked about before, and like I've lost a pretty good amount of weight in the last 12 weeks. I think I'm down like 40 pounds now. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I see myself differently now just because now I'm physically starting to see it. Like for the longest time though, I didn't though. And like guys at my work were just like, dude, you're disappearing. I'm like, nah, you know, I look all right. And then a female friend said something to me that kind of opened that up. Like I put a dress shirt on and she was just like, wow. And I was like, wow, what? She's like, yeah, you look like really, really good. And she was telling me the other day that my physical body changed. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think I probably in my head was like, oh, cool, awesome. Like, she thinks I look handsome. But on the flip side, she was like, you could physically see you change. She's like, your arms, your shoulders went back, your chest came up, like you know, hearing that. But it's hard to let go of the idea that I'm still in my head what I think I am. Yeah. It's really, really hard.
I've always struggled with my weight. And that's always been probably the one thing that's been my demise with it, because I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that I had changed. So I automatically felt like I failed because I didn't see change. And I set myself up for this roller coaster of dieting, not dieting, dieting, not dieting. It's been counterproductive to having a positive outlook on who I am because of the whole fail, try again, fail, you know, or at least in my head, seeing it as a fail. When I started losing weight was when I said, oh crap, I ate crappy today, but tomorrow I'll do, you know, I'm just going to do better. And I got up and I did better the next day. And when I ate something I shouldn't have, I didn't beat myself up for it. I just was like, okay, I ate it. I didn't eat the whole bag. Maybe I ate half the bag. Maybe I ate only 2, whatever it was, but I still did it. But I realized that life is not a black and white thing. There are various degrees of how you could do things. And I wish that I had thought about that when I was younger and dieting all the time. I could have saved myself the yo-yo part if I wasn't as hard as myself. Like it's either a pass or fail. There's no in between.
Right. And you learn really quick that there is an in between.
Oh, no, I didn't learn very quick. It took me years before I figured that out.
I mean, once you hit it.
Yeah.
Like once
then it goes easy.
Realize.
Yes.
And then you wake up one day and you're like, what in the fuck was I doing?
Right.
And again, that's with, I think, all the things we're talking about. It's the idea, it's the letting go of the person that was toxic to you for 10 years, or, or the person that abused you for however long. Once you hit it, I think it's easy to let go, but it's getting to that point is the hardest part that you'll ever do.
Right. The letting go, how it goes back to,
well, I mean, even getting to the point, though, the point where that you feel it's okay to let go. Like,
yeah.
I think even that's a hill. There's a hill to climb before you realize, okay, I think I can let this go. And then there's the journey from I think I can let it go to letting it go. Because then you question all the things, like, the relationship was like this. Where did it go wrong? We were in the same relationship for 4 years or 10 years. And then you were like, where did it veer off course? Can we fix that? And then you realize, oh, I've been complacent for 10 years and I really was never in love. Or I was with this person for 10 years and they were just my friend, but I stayed anyway because of my family. At some point you get to that level, that line in the sand of trying to let go. And then but it's still, you got to get over that line. There's like multiple things to that letting go.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just waking up one morning and deciding I'm going to do this. I mean, you can try that. It's like my weight loss. Like, mine was partly depression. And then I literally walked by the mirror, and I have these two big full-size closeted mirrors. And I saw myself and I was like, wow, like, how did I get here?
Right.
But I still didn't even stop. I didn't let go. It took me a little while longer. And then, I was going down this depression road, sort of, and I already wasn't eating, or I was kind of getting down on myself. And then I joined the gym and I was like, I'm just going to walk. Like, I'm going to go to the gym in the morning. I'm going to walk. And then I have another, a good friend of mine, she's lost a lot of weight. She was like, you should fast. And I was like, okay, I'll try that. Like, I was already going down this road of like not feeling well.
Yeah.
But, so, after that, it still took, and then I finally let go. But it was still weeks and weeks and weeks of going through this, turmoil or whatever you want to call it. And then I finally did it.
Yeah.
But I fought it. I fought letting go. And we all do that. We all fight, even if we know it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So,
it's funny that you say that, because you're talking about like not being able to let go. So my daughter is adopted, and we haven't had really much of a relationship in the last 10 years, other than a really just a volatile life together. When we get together, it seems like I am very aware of any mistake I've made, because she's been very vocal about it. And we've gotten to the point where I don't even want to talk to her, because it's just not ever going to be a healthy situation the way that it's going right now. And so I find that the hardest part of letting go is letting go of my idea of being a mom and having a family. Because I am, with this divorce, I'm letting go of all of it, because I have to. There's just no way to get around it. So I've been finding that it's very difficult to let go of all that, and it's all wrapped together with the divorce and the family and the house and the life and the everything. It's like this huge ball right now. But at the center of it, it's also like the idea of being a mom and not being one now, because I'm literally going to let go. And I don't know how it's going to work. I just think one day I'm just going to be tired of feeling bad, and it's just going to stop. I'm just going to say that's enough, and it's going to stop. I hope that's what's going to happen.
I would probably say that. Like I said, like during my divorce, like it was, and I kind of lost the same thing, like I had stepdaughters and a life and a small child. And I saw things crumbling around me because I thought, okay, I had this great life for this amount of time. How am I was more worried about the recover. Like, how was I going to recover? There's no way I can just recover from this. And then of course there's a few people that come around that are like, hey, let's go to your reunion. Oh,
who's that?
And I was, I'm just like, all right, well, screw it, let's go. And so there's things like that where you end up finding I think that's more of the foot in the door.
Yeah.
That's where you'll be fine, is when you finally realize the door is closing or opening, either one, however you want to put it, to where you catch it and you go, okay, this is my opening to get out the door. That's your letting go point. It's just you haven't got there yet. And regardless of how long it takes, whether it's a year, 5 years, I mean, there's some people that it takes years and years to let go of the full idea. I mean, you're already going down the road of divorce. So that you found the road you're on is to let go.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting to the finale. And I think that's with any of these things we're talking about. Half relationships, you're the only one who loves somebody, the idea of becoming this, the idea of this, they're never easy. If letting go was easy, everyone would do it and we'd all be happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a tattoo. If it didn't hurt, everyone would have them.
Right.
To me, letting go is, if it was easy, we'd all be just mundane little walkers that walk around. And, something has to be worth losing. That's what makes the happiness part of it. Because if you find somebody that you're with and that you think they're just the greatest thing in the world, that thought of loss is what keeps you honest.
Right.
So that's why letting go is hard, because when you finally get with this person or this idea and it fails, you want to fight, so you don't want to let go.
Right.
But sometimes fighting it just makes it worse.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in a few of my relationships. We're just holding on to something that's not there or not real. Sometimes you have to let go. You have to be able to see the forest through the trees. And a lot of us don't until it's too late and you lose somebody that you didn't do with it because you didn't let go of something else. Sometimes you just got to bring a fucking chainsaw and cut the trees down. But until you're ready to cut the trees down, they're always going to be in the way of your forest. So
absolutely.
To me, and that's the hardest part is you can see the chainsaw on the ground. It's got gas in it.
Yeah.
But you don't start it. And sometimes you don't start it for 2 years, even knowing that the relationship or the thing you're in is never going to work.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to let go. So I think what you're saying is the truth without a shadow of a doubt. Is it's just so hard, and you don't know when to give in.
Don't know where to start even. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest with you, I don't come from a place of even divorce or of not having biological children. Like, my whole family was able to do all those things for
Right.
like lifetimes. And I didn't do it. So everything that I'm going through is, for me, it's unprecedented. I'm doing it like, I'm doing it by the, the skin of my teeth. And I don't have any reference points to know how to do with this, to deal with all of this loss. And so other than to just, what's kind of fun with me is I will just get high, because when I'm thinking about all the things that are going on at the same time and it gets so overwhelming, it'll start to panic me. It'll start to give me anxiety. My eye starts to twitch. I start to like, I want to get out of my skin. I want to run away. And, I find that my friends with the alcohol, same thing. It's like, I'll smoke a little and then I'll be like, okay, it's not that bad. Like, what is really bothering you? But it's like, it's everything these days. So, the whole like having it planned out, it's not there this week. It's just not there.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's also just these stackable moments where you feel like everything is coming down on you. So the last thing you want to do is let go.
Yeah.
Because you're just afraid. Like,
you're just trying to hold it all together.
Yeah. And that if you let go of that one thing, that the fucking house is going to crumble.
Right.
And so you don't let go and you continue to look at it the same way. And I'm telling you, for me, it's a very, very difficult thing to do, letting go. I will hold on and look for hope and try to see what I want to see in it.
Yeah.
Even when everyone else sees something else.
For me, I really do. When things get too overwhelming for me, I want to run. And I'm not a runner. I only run when I'm scared. So obviously at this point, like, I'm scared about what the future is going to bring and what it's going to hold and how much I'm going to have to let go of, because it's a big order right now. Mm-hmm. So, I think I told you that I wanted to get a motorcycle or get a trike or do that, because the whole getting on it and having freedom and being away from it, running away, it's so attractive. And I really am considering just selling my shit that I have here and moving to Greece and saying, okay, let's just start over. Like, nobody knows you're here. Just do what you got to do. And let's see where it ends up, I'm stuck in the middle of those two things. Like, what's going to work? And
it's kind of cool though.
It is kind of cool, but it scares the shit out of me, because I'm the reliable one that's always, that always does the right thing, that people look for the answers. And I'm like, you guys don't get this shit. I don't have the answers this time. So
right.
I don't know what to tell you. Every man for themselves, because that's where it's at right now. Mm-hmm. And the letting go has always for me been difficult. I want to keep everybody around me. I want to have all my people. You know what I mean? I want to know what's going on with everybody. I love everything and everybody that I put time into. So I want to see it keep going. So letting go has been very hard for me to do forever, let alone now, let alone with something as important as my family, my life, my marriage, my being a mom, like letting all that, because those are big things that like identify you as a person.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like I said, like for me, the only thing that I can tell you is it's a gradual hill climb. Like, whether it's a year or 2 years or 2 months, some people are ready in that quickly. Yeah. Some people it takes forever. And like I said, some people never let it go, ever. Right. I'm trying to do my best these days to see the world for what it is. It's an open book. It's you have to realize sometimes that you have to jump in feet first and tell people, either what you feel or what you don't, and continue to move forward, because we're not getting any younger. We're chasing things that aren't really there when there might be someone right in front of you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the sad part, is that sometimes you don't realize, again, that the best thing that's ever been in your life has been there the whole time, but you've been ignoring it because of something else. So, I know that we both have friends that are in that situation, because we talked before off air about it. Like, we both have friends that are in relationships that just aren't real.
Mm-hmm.
And to suffer for that long and being afraid to let go for whatever reason, family, kids, money, everyone holds on for whatever the hell it is that they're looking for.
Absolutely.
But when you finally get there and the thing that you're looking for most, it's right there, then it becomes the easiest thing in the world to let go.
Yeah. See, for me too,
it's hard.
Yeah. And, right now in these times are so trying, because it seems like the loss is just everywhere, loss of income, loss of jobs, loss of being able to have our freedoms, loss of all these things. And it seems like for right now, that's the theme of my life is letting go of all these things. And it's so overwhelming. And I'm not complaining. Trust me. I really am struggling with this. Like, it would be nice to be able to figure this out and have a plan and then go from there. Like, people ask me, what is your plan for when the divorce is final? I'm like, I don't even freaking know.
But
like, how do you know? I didn't know when I was getting out of high school. I didn't know that I was going to end up being a hairdresser. I was thinking I was going to be a nurse. Big difference. I took a different road. I also got engaged on prom night. I could have gotten married, or I could have went to college. I didn't do either of those things. So it's like, the roads you don't know. Like, I don't have a plan, and I've never gone this long with not having a plan or not having an idea, or not, like, my only plan is the freaking motorcycle. And I got to tell you, I obsess over it, because that's one thing I know right now that I actually, it's going to make me happy. It's going to make me happy because I got to run away. But really, a motorcycle, come on.
I think I'm at a place where my only thing is tomorrow. It's okay to not know what's going to happen. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to go do my job. I'm going to go do my shit. I'm going to come home, and I'm going to sit around and do whatever. But I think it's okay to be like that. I mean, we've already lived a life hard enough where we had to worry about those decisions all the time. Raising kids, going through your 20s and 30s, and parts of your 40s. I don't know. I think that I've learned a lot, that sometimes that I don't know what kind of person you are. I kind of do. I think in general, and I'm going to make a general statement. Most people like to stick their toes in the water and kind of see how cold it is. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to jump the fuck in.
And see, I'm both people. Like, sometimes I'll be like, why did I just freaking jump in? That was a dumb idea.
Yeah.
And then other times I'm like, I could have been more invested. Yeah. There's both sides to that.
But sometimes you stick your toes in the water and realize it's freezing and go, nah.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
And then you may be missing out on the greatest thing in the world. So,
Or not though. Like,
well, no, or not. But what I'm saying is but you'll never know.
right.
Sometimes I'd rather know, like, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And what ifs are the hardest things to live with. They'll eat you alive, unless you can find a way to let go.
Yeah.
And it's just not easy enough. And I wish I had an answer of how to do it, because that's not realistic either.
Yeah, we need a step-by-step something. That's what I've been thinking. Like, I always have like, how do you deal with grief? How do you deal with loss? How do you deal? I could deal with a lot of things, but this letting go for me, I'm like, damn, why am I getting caught up on this? What the hell?
Because
It
it's a
doesn't need
different
to
kind
be
of
so
loss.
hard.
It's
There's so many losses though.
but it's a different kind of loss.
Yeah.
It's a loss that death is a loss that you don't have control over,
Yeah.
but it's a final loss
Absolutely.
that these type of losses aren't.
Yeah.
It's a loss that you can go months, years down the road, and then wake up one morning and just go, why didn't that work? And then the eating alive starts, and you question why you bought Colgate over Crest. You know what I mean? Like, then you start questioning just everything and any kind of thing in life. And I don't want to get there. I want to get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm making this decision because I think it's best for me. And then the next day I'm going to go, I think I'm making this decision because it's best for me.
Yeah.
Because you can't prove everybody right, and you can't prove everybody wrong. And you can't worry about what the next door neighbor says or your best friend, because you still have to be you, and you're going to get there, Tina. You're going to get to a point where you are okay letting go. It may take a while, because and I'm telling you, recently I went through the same thing of just knowing it's time to let go.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not doing me any good. And matter of fact, it's doing me more harm than it is anything else.
Right. I get that.
And I would be lying to you if I said it didn't hurt, because I would be lying to you. But on the flip side of that, I know that for my future, it's the best thing to do. And it allowed me to open up to someone else and tell them certain things that might help my future, or they're a great friend of mine, and they're going to be able to help me with something else. So sometimes you have to, but it's a pace thing. There's no answer. If there was, we'd all be fucking robots. And everything would be the same, and it'd be mundane, and they'd be like, don't worry, Tina, at 6 months, 3 days, and 27 hours, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I hope it only takes that long. I could do anything for 6 months.
Yeah, but it may be 6 months from now.
Yeah.
It may be 6 hours from now.
Yeah, that's true.
So
my brother's doing this thing. He's done it for a long time now. 0 fucks given. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
Like, every time I talk to him about something that's bothering me, he goes, Tina, 0 fucks given. Turn it off. Like, you don't need to even deal with this. Mm-hmm. I wish I had the ability to turn off like that. Maybe because I'm a woman, I can't do it. But man, when he says that, I'm like, I want to be like that. But I don't think he turns it off either. I think he's avoiding it.
Sure, that's exactly what it is. Because I can say I can give 2 0 fucks of it, and then I roll over at 3 a.m, and my head goes, and then I'm screwed.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I'm an overthinker. Like, I'm an ultra overthinker, to the point where, like, I'll talk myself out of shit. Because I'll just overthink so much. I've
been thinking so much that all my body wants to do is just sleep. Like, let's turn this bitch off because it's too much. And so I find but I'm not sleeping though. It's like I want to be in that moment. I want to like get the rest and just turn it all off. But it seems like it follows me into my dreams. It follows me when I wake up. It follows me to the kitchen. It follows me to the bathroom. Like it's all over the place.
Yep.
So I can't do that. I want to be that zero fucks given person so badly.
We all do.
I'm
We
struggling
all
with it.
want to. I mean, look, on paper, zero fucks given is amazing.
Right?
And here's the problem with it. You may be able to do it for 4, 5, 12 a month. And then one day you'll walk around the corner and something sets you off.
Mm-hmm. And that I don't want to do either. I really want to, when I walk away, be done. I really want to say, and not be
Yes.
done, like just be like, I don't want to have this what if bullshit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I just, because in all honesty, I did try my very hardest to do the best in my capabilities every single day. Mm-hmm. And it just didn't work out. It may not have been perfect, but I gave all that I could give. And now it's just time to let go. But it's just letting go of like the major stepping stones in my life. It's a big change. It's a lot of loss.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
And because no one wants to lose anything. No one wants to lose.
I kind of felt like I had already lost because I didn't have my freedom. I didn't have the ability to go out and do what I needed to do to make me happy. You know what I mean? I felt like I got to the place where I just couldn't do that. And being free is honestly the scariest freaking thing for me, but it also feels the best. Like, remember the old, like, I don't know, not a merry-go-round, but remember those things you could get on in a play yard and you had to hold on because somebody's going to just make you go in circles around and around and you had to hold on real tight. That feeling is one of my favorite feelings in the whole world. You really don't have control. You got to hold on. You're going to be dizzy. Let's, fast. Let's let it go as fast as it can. Let's make whatever's going to happen. It's going to happen right now. And if you fall off, you fall off. But hopefully you're smart enough to hold on and stay there until the ride's over and not puke on yourself. That's kind of how I feel right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to puke on myself? Because I am really going fast.
Just don't hack on yourself. Everything will be fine. I mean, there is something about that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And this whole bike thing, it's going to happen. The more that people say something to me, because it's not who I am to do this, but it is in me to do this. And everybody's really got an opinion about it. But if they knew what was going on in my head and how bad I needed that outlet, that release, that feeling of just being free, mm-hmm. then they would totally get it. But they're like, no, bitch, you're getting a little out there right now with the things that you're saying and doing and what you may or may not do. And, bring it back. But I don't know I don't think I could bring it back. Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, you're in too deep and that's okay. No, seriously, that's
I'm
another
up to the
thing.
Eyeballs.
But here's the best part about that. You're up to your eyeballs. You're in deep. But at the end of the day, I think you know that you're at the fork of the road and you're going the right direction.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part. That's the first sign of letting go. Yeah. Like I said, I think letting go is stages. It's hard to go cold turkey on anything.
Yeah. It's funny because my friend says, why is it that you always know, you always have the answers, you always know. And I'm like, I only talk about what I figured out. Like, I've never done this where I've come and said, I don't fucking know what I'm doing right now. I don't think you've ever got that out of my mouth, completely and just as raw as it's been. But I felt like, okay, if you want to hear what's really going on and how how I'm struggling, I could be honest too. Yeah, this letting go. I don't have it. I don't have it tapped in yet.
No, and like I said, I think you're doing the best you can at whatever pace that is.
Yeah.
I will tell you though, at least for me, you're gonna get to the fork in the road. You're there. I think you've made the right. You're going down the highway, and at some place there'll be a stop sign that says, "Get out, take a rest. You've let go." It's just a matter of whenever you're ready to do it.
Yeah.
You can't force it.
No.
You just can't. I mean, there's no forcing the you can't force emotions. Emotions have their own control.
Yeah.
And you'll love somebody as long as you want to. And as soon as you don't, you'll let them go. And then vice versa. You might have been fighting shit for years. And then one day you're going to wake up and you're going to let go of the fear. That's all it is to me, I think. But it's never easy. It isn't meant to be, because loss is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be a character building thing.
Then I should have one huge character.
You got a lot of character, Tina. Think about that. Like look at the saddest people in the world are clowns because they try to make everyone laugh.
Right.
But they have character, and I think that's we're meant to go through loss and gain and loss and gain and loss and gain, and at some point there's the gain that lasts forever. It's just a matter of finding it. And it sucks because we have to go through so much of the loss part or the pain part that you become so jaded and afraid of ever trying again that you won't, because you don't ever want to let go again.
Yeah.
And that's sucky. It's really sucky because no one wants to get hurt. It's just, and hurt and letting go generally walk hand in hand.
Yeah.
They're playmates.
Right.
And, so is joy and pain.
Ooh, one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, I mean, look at it that way. I just think that nothing's easy, ever. I mean, sometimes deciding what burger you want at the fucking McDonald's can be a fucking headache. Making life decisions of letting go of a major league emotion is virtually physical pain.
Yeah.
Like your mind will put you in physical pain. Your mind will play tricks on you and make you feel like you don't want to eat for weeks, even though we have to have food to sustain life.
Right.
The human psyche and the human body are very crazy, and letting go has something to do with both of those, I think.
Yeah.
Because when you let go, you get physically hurt or mentally in pain. At least for me, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I've done it several times. So,
oh yeah, totally. And I think that over the years I've lost so much. I feel like a piece of Swiss cheese sometimes, like really big things. And I think this is just kind of the end of all the big things. It's the end of a complete era. And I think that that's why, because everything's so wrapped up together, I think that that's where I'm at with it. But it hasn't got me down yet. I know that I'm still okay. I still have my sense of humor. I've got the sickest sense of humor. The harder life gets, the better this bitch comes out. It's amazing.
right.
And just trying to find the happy in all of the misery that's going on, all the angst, all the uneasiness, the not knowing what's going on. Thank God for the sense of humor that I got, because I've been laughing at some seriously twisted things these days, and it brings me joy. So I'm just going to keep going with it until I figure out something else.
To me, a dark sense of humor is the one thing that keeps you level.
Yeah.
Because we see things from the darkest and the brightest side.
Right. It's true.
You know, if you can make a joke about someone falling, right? It's an easy joke.
My favorite thing to laugh at.
Right. But it's an easy one, right? It's haha. If you can make a joke about a plane crash where everyone dies and there's still humor in it, I think you encompass everything.
Yeah. When my mom died and my brother and I walked up to see her in the coffin, and we looked at her hair that she had burnt, and they made these crazy bangs out of it. We made fun of her in the coffin. Like one of the sickest moments in my life was making fun of her hair that day. And my brother and I laughed our heads off and just held on to each other. But I think that was what we needed to get through the day, because it was such a heavy hearted day that day that the two of us looked at each other and just started laughing, because there was nothing else to do. That sixth sense of humor is what saved that moment.
Yeah. And I think that it was a form of letting go.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally.
So yeah. What you did is the best thing for you. You found a way of letting go.
Yeah.
Through a laugh that your mom probably would have laughed at.
She would have slapped the shit out of both of us. Let's be honest. Making fun of her was not
no.
was not something we did.
but I bet you she would have found the humor in it.
I think she would have said, "Those are my kids," because life does get really hard, and you have to get really sick and twisted in your mind.
Sometimes you got to punch life in the face.
Right?
Seriously. But I agree. And that's the only way of letting go. And like I said, I've tried to do my best about doing this as much as I can. Because if you don't let go of certain things, your future is going to be very bleak.
Absolutely. And I am looking forward to what's next, not only for me, but for my ex. I could honestly say I love that man enough to want more for him than what I was capable of giving him. I really do. But I'm also not going to let him call my shots either. You know what I mean? So it's a kind of a, I don't know.
I do. I totally understand, actually. But again, like, you have to let go. Whenever you're ready, you will.
I'm working on it. I feel like I'm struggling to fight through whatever, like I'm in a big paper bag and I'm trying to fight my way out of it. That's kind of what it feels like. And it hasn't been a horrible ride, but it has not been easy. And thinking about this podcast and how I've gotten the feedback where people like, Tina knows everything. Tina doesn't know shit. The only thing that Tina knows is what she's experienced, and she could tell you how she did it. That is basically it. I don't know any more than anybody else. I just know to laugh harder.
We talk about experiences and then boast our opinions about those experiences.
Yeah.
And look, if I can tell somebody about my experience and they can go, oh yeah, I totally understand that, and it helps them, awesome. Because my friends have done the same to me.
Yeah.
And pushed me along the way and said, hey, again, my newest, thing to look at is the forest through the trees, because there is a lot of forest out there. You just gotta want to go see it.
And I'm just ready to get on that bike and look for the horizon.
Yeah, you'll find the forest because you're going to be on a motorcycle.
Right.
Just drive to where the fucking forest is. I think
I'm going to find my happy at the beach. I'm going to go that route.
Yeah. And like I told you, my moment was realizing that I had a chainsaw the whole time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to make fucking lumber out of these theories, and so you can go, that's the forest.
Don't be surprised if I say, hey, I'm taking off for Greece next week, because
No.
I have really, how many months, when I talk about things over and over again, it's really in my head. Like I'm really getting there, and it just may be Greece.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Recording this podcast is going to be hard. That's a fucking time difference.
I could wake up in the middle of the night and do this with you. I wouldn't even matter.
No, but what I'm saying is what we'd have to do is we'll have to find that peak time, right? Where it's like noon here and 9 at night, or like one of those weird things where we're both awake. It's like, what time can we do it where we're both awake on a Saturday? It would have to be something crazy like that.
You know what? I got to say, I really do enjoy this podcast. I don't listen to everything because I don't like my voice, and I don't want to think, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. Mm-hmm. Whatever I say is coming straight out from my heart, and it is what it is. And I just kind of own it. And I'm hoping that my dad doesn't get too upset by anything I say, because his favorite thing to tell me is just don't tell anybody, when I'm doing something stupid. So I'm trying to do this without shaming my father, but still being real. But I got to tell you, I really enjoy this, and it saved me through all of this. Like being able to talk about it's really been good.
I will agree. I think it's given me an outlet to let go of certain things.
Yeah.
And yes, I unfortunately I do listen to the shows because I listen to them the next day to edit them or whenever. But I think that it was an important thing for at least me to do, because it let me talk about things that
you needed to talk about.
That may have been really undercovers that we talked about that no one knows about me or no one knew. Yeah. And it's helped me. It's a great outlet, and like I said, it's let me let go of a few things that were buried deep in some things, and then some that were very much a surface issue. So I'm glad. And
also being able to realize how important our relationship with each other has been, because we don't acknowledge that. Like I'm not warm fuzzy like that. I'm like, oh, Rob, I love you. That's all you're going to get. Not right. I needed you in my life. You know what I mean? And I don't really ever do that, but just like doing this podcast and being together and being there for each other without ever having a sexual relationship, without ever being anything other than a really close friend. Like you could lay on my bed with me. We could watch TV. We could be like total friends. And that's it. We are total friends to each other. Right. It's a blessing. People that say that you can't be friends with a man if you're a woman is bullshit, because we're doing it. We've done it for all these years.
It can totally be done. And I think that we've showed that over many, many, many years that you can pick right up where you were the last time. If you're lucky. I think that we've always had that kind of relationship, though.
We have.
It's like, we could disappear for years, and then as soon as we see each other, it's like literally like we didn't miss a beat. And that we're lucky. I mean, I'm very lucky that I have a friend that I can lean on, and is way more important than just a podcast. I know that tomorrow, if I really needed you, and I mean really needed you,
I've done stupid shit with you just to be there for you.
And the people you've introduced me to over the years that are important, and then to find out that there's people that we know that we didn't know we knew, that are mutual friends that we had no idea. So there's just a lot of cool things, and
we're like supposed to be around each other for sure.
And if I can help you let go, that, because you've helped me let go.
Yeah.
So I think that it's there. It's just a matter of tiny steps to get where you need to go.
And I don't listen to my own advice. You know that. Like, I'm really good at telling other people, you got this, but I don't do it to myself. But I need to start doing that.
That's both of us, though. I think it's easy to be a therapist to somebody else when it's not your fucking problem.
Yeah.
But when you realize that that is your problem, you're just not listening.
You know what I think? What I think works for me is because I really do sound like I believe when I say something that I believe that you could do it. Like, I always say that, you know, like, you got this. I believe in you. I think people believe me, where I got to start believing people when they say that I could do it, because I really could sell it to where people believe me and they'll go with it. But I need to start believing myself.
You do, because I'll tell you, like, you definitely pushed me to let go of something that was not going to help me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just takes that one little thing. Like, we were talking to Liv, you know, and you said that, you know, don't, because she's so young, it's not a cliff.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have to worry, like, don't worry about falling off. You have plenty of time.
Right.
And I think even at this age, we still have plenty of time. Don't look at everything as a big cliff, but you got to let go sometimes so you can understand that you can get past the cliff. I don't know. We can come up with a million metaphors, but
I remember my 40s. If I could get through that, turning 40 that year, I could get through anything. I keep telling myself it's not as bad as when I was 40. It's still not as bad as when I was 40.
True. You know, then I try to look at the positives. Like, at the end of the day, there's still a plate of Chi-Chi's that's waiting for me to
Hell
eat.
Yeah, let's go.
So
Chi-Chi's is pizza, people. It's not boobies.
I mean, it's also boobies, but
you don't need a plate of boobies.
No, I don't need a plate of boobies. But that's how I look at things. It's like the small things will add up to the big things, and then when you're ready for that big thing, you're gonna be open armed to it. And I think that you'll be fine. Letting go, like I told you, it's not easy. It took me a long time to let go of some things, and it's probably for the better.
Yeah.
So
throw caution to the wind and do it again. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? That's how I look at it.
We have got to go. This is a long show. Episode. Thank all of you guys for listening, and thank you for being a part of our lives. And please continue to do so, and subscribe, and encourage people to listen to us. You could find us on Spotify, Google, Amazon, Apple, Facebook. Just Google us up. You can find us.
We're everywhere, and we're in your head now.
Yeah.
This is an opinion show, so don't get it twisted, because we just wasted an hour and 18 minutes of your time, or it was the greatest thing in the world. I hope you learned something from it. You do have to let things go sometimes, and thankfully I got a co-host here that'll push me to do the things that sometimes I don't want to do.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. So thanks for listening. We'll see you next week, and it'll be 45 minutes. I will try to promise. I am Rob for Tina. Thank you very much. We'll see you in a week.